For more than 175 years, the Smithsonian has sparked curiosity and a passion for knowledge. Today, our dynamic educators continue this pursuit, showcasing stories, artifacts, and exhibitions to over 8 million young people around the globe each year. Join us as we celebrate the outstanding efforts of Smithsonian education. For many, learning begins in a special place, the classroom. Across 21 museums and libraries, the National Zoo, and science centers, the Smithsonian proudly partners with teachers to develop interactive lessons for all ages and at-home activities for families. Whether it's hands-on exploration with the National Museum of Natural History or preserving Native American history and culture through the Native Knowledge 360 initiative, we champion a safe, supportive environment for young people to ask questions and discover new perspectives. With a vast set of digital resources, our education platforms can be accessed from anywhere in the world. Many of our museums offer virtual, age-appropriate field trips and interactive experiences, giving students a view of the Smithsonian without ever leaving their classrooms or homes. The award-winning Smithsonian Learning Lab also provides a rich repository of resources, allowing teachers to create their own lessons or access those from Smithsonian educators. We realize that supporting students also means supporting teachers. With professional learning courses at the Smithsonian American Art Museum, we help teachers tackle big themes such as identity, urbanization, conflict, and environmentalism. Our education community believes that embracing diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion can expand the narratives we share, celebrating all voices and perspectives. Historically speaking, from the National Museum of African American History and Culture and the Smithsonian Science Education Center's Zero Barriers in STEM Education program are examples that highlight the importance of diversity in our communities, whether they're thriving in the heart of our nation or beyond. Smithsonian education aims to be accessible no matter where you call home. In the United States, we have many localized programs, like the Asian Pacific American Center's Resources for History, Art, and Culture, the Anacostia Community Museum's Environmental Justice Academy, working to engage the next generation in environmental awareness and advocacy. Our Environmental Research Center's citizen science projects investigating everything from forest biodiversity to water quality. The Harvard and Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics dedicated to STEM and astronomy curricula. And Museum on Main Street with traveling community-based exhibits that have visited over 1,900 communities since 1994. Abroad, the world-class Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute welcomes 70,000 visitors a year, but also boasts Q Digital, hosting virtual interactives that immerse children in the biodiversity of Panama. As the world evolves, Smithsonian education continues to adapt its approach to disseminating knowledge, aligning students with scholars, policy experts, and activists, developing appreciation and stewardship of our planet, and fostering the next generation of museum professionals, scientists, artists, and historians. The Smithsonian Institution has accomplished extraordinary feats in 175 years, but we have even more on the horizon. As we aim to reach every classroom in America, Smithsonian Education has an incredible opportunity to empower tomorrow's innovators, those who will live and work on Mars, solve the climate change crisis, and write the next chapter of our collective history. Our mission is clear. We're investing in our future leaders today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. I can't believe we're at our last session on the last day of our National Summit. It has been such a wonderful opportunity to be in fellowship, I'll say, with you and to learn with you and from you. It's kind of a bittersweet moment for us, but I think that we're going to go out on a really high note. As we think about Smithsonian education, one of our goals was to introduce to some and to re-familiarize with others all of the resources that we have here to offer for Smithsonian education and to educators. That video was just a highlight of some of the many resources that we have. We ask that you stay connected to us. We have a newsletter that comes out every month, and we also are willing to kind of connect with you personally to see how we can coordinate and make sure that the resources that we have are reaching the places that you need it to reach. We will have a survey that comes out either today, it's already come out, or it will come out very shortly. And we ask that you please give us feedback on the summit. What were some things that you really enjoyed? What are some things that we need to think about? And where are the places that we need to change or modify? Our goal is to have this summit every year. And so we want to make sure that every year we're in a process of continuous improvement. So your feedback is really important to us. So please take 2 to 3, 4 minutes to fill it out and give us some feedback on the summit. Well, so we're coming to our last session. One of the things that I know from my experience in the education space, I actually went to a performing arts school in Cincinnati, Ohio, the School for the Creative and Performing Arts. And I knew then that being at, we called it SCPA, being there, I was learning new and interesting skills about rehearsal, about working through something that you weren't quite getting the first time. Perseverance, teamwork, collaboration, all of those things I didn't know would serve me in such a great capacity as I went on through my profession. But there's something about the arts, and when you're an artist, that equips you for success as you go through life. We also know from research that an integrated arts education actually helps to improve academic performance. And we know for students who are racial minority students and English learners that if they are exposed to an arts-rich education, that they actually perform better and graduate at higher rates than students who are not involved in an arts-rich education. That's why I'm so excited about this last session. We will focus exclusively on the importance of arts integration and talk about how arts, in this situation, a collaboration with the Fender Play Foundation and LA Unified School District, really help students foster that sense of belonging through music. We are really fortunate to hear a case study about how Fender met a need that LA was having during COVID, addressed that need, and then surpassed it. They were able to bring instruments to students across the district and not only provide free instruments, but also provide free lessons. We'll hear today about how that story unfolded and then how it also set the stage for them to work with a statewide proposition that would bring over $1 billion to the district to support arts education. So I'm really excited to share this story with you. I will be, right after we watch this video, I will welcome to the stage Ed McGee and Mary Keenan, who will start us off, and then we'll have a wonderful opportunity to talk with some students from LA Unified School District and 2 teachers. So we'll look at this video first.
The foundation helping solve the problem of access to music education across LAUSD, and why is that so important to students in this stage of their development?
Well, the key thing is, as you know, the arts completely got ripped out of the educational process. So being able to put instruments back into kids' hands and being able to actually understand the actual impact, that's something different that we've been able to accomplish with the Fender Play Foundation is to actually see how it actually impacts their lives.
If only they had a program like this when I was in school.
Music and education are two of the most powerful concepts on the planet. Music and education bring families together. They inspire our future and help us to celebrate our past. With music and education, we can create new places, new spaces, ideas, and careers.
A bass guitarist for less than a year, the 12-year-old practices daily. Has music made this somewhat easier for you to be able to have the bass?
Yeah, it's kind of like an escape for me.
I like to think of music and education that go hand in hand because it's the creative source that anytime there's a problem, music, it serves us all. It comes along to give us a story that makes us feel better, to comfort us. It gives us access to other people's ideas. We welcome you into the service of music. Now, you've all been given instruments. These instruments are your guardian angels. These things will comfort you in times when you think you can't get through. Lean on that axe. Lean on that guitar. Lean on that ukulele. Lean on that bass.
That's it. All right, every time I watch that video, I get pumped up. Yes.
I'm Mary Keenan, and this is Ed McGee, and we're here on behalf of the Fender Play Foundation. Today we're going to talk you through the very unique partnership between Fender Musical Instruments Corporation and the Los Angeles Unified School District, how it started as a very ambitious response to COVID, grew to serve tens of thousands of students across the school district, and ultimately ignited a statewide initiative that led to the largest single investment in music and arts education that our country has ever seen. We're going to talk to you about what we've learned, share some insights into the program and some results, and hopefully for folks out here who are thinking of doing something similar, setting up a program of your own, whether it's music or just music and arts or any program, give you some tips and guidance on how to move quickly and think about some things in advance. But the best part of all is we've got some very brave students and some wonderful hero teachers who have flown all the way across the country to join us today and to celebrate their accomplishment in this program and to share with you their own story about what it was like to participate. By the end of today, we really hope that you'll be as excited as we are about the potential for a partnership and the opportunities out there to look for partnership to grow and do something similar. Ed?
Yes. All right. Next slide. I think what's amazing is, the reality is this was all born of a crisis. And great quote from Rahm Emanuel. He said, "Never let a serious crisis go to waste. It's an important opportunity to do things that you could not do before." And this really resonates in the birth of the program because when we say crises today, everyone thinks of COVID. But in reality, the real crisis is we've underinvested music, art, and arts education in our country for a very, very long time, and we need people to stand up and really make steps towards bringing equitable access to music and arts education to all school kids. And we're going to talk about how we did that in a moment here. The opportunity piece is, we can accomplish great things when we work together. And certainly this happened in our partnerships. We ended up getting a call from Austin Butner, who was then the superintendent of education for LA Unified. And he said, "Hey, Ed, we need your help." And it was March of 2020, and you all remember that time frame if you were in schools, right? Everyone was shifting to online education. LA Unified had to really start thinking about their summer programming. And what he said was, "Hey, we've got reading and writing and arithmetic covered. We need to do other things that inspire kids during the summer." So he worked with Fender, we did a guitar program, he worked with James Cameron. I mean, the beautiful thing about LA is there are a lot of interesting folks in town, and they were really, really innovative in the approach to the summer and moving to online education. And I think that was one of the big keys. So the challenge was we had essentially a request, and I'll never forget this conversation. We said, all right, so this is a pilot for the summer. What do you think about 200 or 300 kids? And he goes, nah, how about 1,000? And we kind of choked, swallowed hard, and said, all right, let's figure out how to do this. So the mission of the foundation is to equip, educate, and inspire the next generation of players. So we had to get 1,000 instruments. I actually had to fly in instruments from our warehouse in the Netherlands. We got 1,000 instruments on the ground. We selected electric guitar, acoustic guitar, electric bass, and ukulele. So when we launched, I think we had the largest electric bass class in the country. When we launched, virtual
bass class in the country.
Virtual.
Became official.
When we launched, excellent. So we had to ship them to children's homes because it was COVID, and obviously you can't swap out instruments. You got to send them to their homes, and that was a great part of the program. We had to work with the teachers to develop a really unique curriculum. And we had this tool called Fender Play, and Mary's going to talk about it in a second, but we work with the LA Unified teachers to kind of think through synchronous and asynchronous learning. So how do we give kids a chance to go off on their own and explore, but come together, sense of belonging, in partnership, and then, you know, the amazing work of the teachers then would come into play. So, and then the last piece, we brought our artists in. So the playlist that you heard are some of the artists who've supported the programs. And one of the fun things, whenever an artist would perform, you know, they'd get done, they'd smile, and then the kids would immediately respond, do you want to hear us play now? Exactly. So it was the cutest thing ever, just seeing the kids' sense of confidence grow and really want to share in a really, really powerful way.
And this was all pulled off in 5.5 weeks.
5.5 weeks. So we were meeting twice a week. Then the head of LA Unified's Music and Arts Division, Dr. Stephen McCarthy, kind of led the charge internally. And it was interesting. Austin told me at some point, I don't think we would have pulled this off were it not for COVID. Yeah. But we can't let a crisis be the thing that inspires us to do this work. So let's talk a little bit about the work.
Well, this is where we're all familiar with this, I'm assuming. This is what was happening. We were losing our students during COVID. And that's why Austin came to us. His number one request was that we build a program that motivate the kids and that strengthen their connection to school. And he knew that an integrated arts approach would help with that. And so that's what we focused on. But before I go on, how many of you taught during March of 2020 online? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your service. And for those of you any music teachers who were teaching online at the time? Okay? Everything that we all lived through, and I'm putting myself in this boat because I've got my two boys here who were home with me while I was working full time. So you probably all had kids at home too that you were managing. Now imagine a music teacher suddenly have to take 30, 40, sometimes 50 students onto a Zoom call and teach them an instrument that they do not have in their hands. It was a challenge. We knew we had some hurdles to overcome. So our number one focus was to try to focus on that connection to school. And we decided to approach it in a bit of a different way. We decided to focus on teachers. Because we knew that teachers, they were already getting the job done. We weren't there to come in and save the day. We were there to support them, to empower them to do what they did best. And so that was how we did it. We provided tools, we provided the Fender Play application that had music lessons. If they didn't know the instrument, they could learn along with their student. We provided a scope and sequence for them to follow. But teachers are the heroes. And you know, the most powerful tool that we ended up building together with the Los Angeles Unified School District was a teacher leadership team. And this leadership team rotated seats every semester. We had new sets of teachers come on board. This team guided the program We met bi-weekly for 3 years, sometimes weekly. They helped us to develop the scope and sequence. They helped us to participate with them on Schoology. We provided tips and tricks. But when it came to teaching the program, teaching teachers how to use Fender Play, we asked them to step into that role because they knew what was going to work, what wasn't going to work, which lesson is good, which one is not. We trusted that they did it, and they did it. And as a result, it opened up other opportunities to grow the program. So we started with a virtual middle school program, all online with middle school students, with music teachers. And then other opportunities and needs came up in Los Angeles. One was the virtual academies, and our program became the music program that was being offered during the school day for schools in the virtual academies. And then we also had the opportunity to take it to an elementary school model in the Highland Park community, where we had 2nd to 5th graders using the Fender Play application, teachers coming on site, teachers who knew what happened in the virtual school program brought that knowledge then to an elementary school setting during the school day. And again, that teacher leadership is what drove this. And here's a little glimpse of what that looked like.
Today we actually are getting ready for our winter program. This music class started last year with the Fender Play support. So these students started learning the ukulele. They had never played the ukulele before, and they've been playing it for a little over a year now.
D, G, E minor.
I'm very passionate with this instrument.
We have a really good tool from Fender Play. We get to use the Fender Play app as part of the lessons.
We're gonna go to the practice mode. So I'm gonna set it up so it's at 50%. Yes.
Are you gonna go faster with C? You wanna show confidence.
They're now more willing to take chances.
I hope they take away that perseverance pays off.
So, you know, we started this program pretty quickly. We needed some help understanding really where it was going to go. How, you know, are we going in the right direction? This is something brand new for the district. This was brand new for Fender. So how did we keep it moving? Number one, we talked to our users, and we started collecting data. And when I say data, it's nothing fancy. We surveyed. We sent out surveys, lots of surveys. At the beginning of every semester, at the end of every semester, we talked to teachers, we talked to students, we talked to their parents. And what started to happen is we saw something special going on. You know, data feels a little scary, but it shouldn't be, because when you can start to collect feedback like this and put some sense of numbers to that, it really multiplies your impact. And it helps you to create your story. And that's what we did, is we started to use this story to go outside. And once we had a story to present to people externally, they really started to buy in to our mission. And so what we'd like to do is bring up our storytellers to the stage and introduce our teachers and our students and invite them forward to share some more.
Come on up.
Come on up, guys.
All right, you guys ready to do this? Yeah? All right, let's do it. All right, so we're going to start off with some introductions. So some great stories to tell, but it becomes special when you meet the kids and the teachers who created this incredible dynamic and really created a wonderful sense of belonging. So why don't you introduce yourselves and tell them a little bit about yourselves, maybe what instruments you play, and yeah.
I'm Hazel Navarro from San Pascual Elementary, and I've played guitar, ukulele, and violin.
Awesome.
I'm Geneva Moore I go by Gigi. I'm a rising 6th grader. I took piano lessons, violin lessons, ukulele, and guitar.
Hi, I'm Josephine Yadigar. I teach 4th and 5th grade at San Pasqual. I teach science and social studies. I don't play an instrument, but I love music.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Sharon Nakata. I'm the school's resource specialist, and San Pasqual is located 15 minutes north of downtown LA on a non-traffic time. and I love to work with all students as a resource specialist, but particularly our unhoused students. And during the day, Josephine and I also run the Nature Club, and our two friends over here are part of it. And we do think you have very good birds in Washington, D.C.
Awesome. So partnership is we'll start off with our wonderful educators here. So partnership is an important theme of the last few days. Can you talk a little bit about what made this partnership special and just some lessons that you've learned out of the experience?
So first of all, I totally agree. Partnerships are really super special and they can go a long way to helping at school. So this particular partnership that we got with Fender was wonderful. So as Mary was saying, we came into the program as the elementary model. So our students received the equipment. So we received the ukuleles. We also, through the partnership, received instruction from highly qualified teachers, and we also, that instruction was then passed on to the students and then also to me, because I was present during all of the lessons. So it was a really a wonderful partnership all the way around, and I saw the children's growth from the moment they opened up the boxes. It was like one of those unboxing episodes.
The joy of unboxing.
Yeah, like I had rather a large class this year because I had like a combination of 5th graders, and so my whole classroom was full of boxes and tissue and paper, and all I could hear was like oohs and ahs and just like total excitement and joy at being given this beautiful instrument. So it's just a great partnership.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Come on, Sharon.
Well, I think partnerships are really powerful, and the district really encourages partnerships. And partnerships can be simple things from, of a neighborhood florist who can give you a discount for things you may need for special occasions, to finding someone who's a family friend or a relative or someone in the community, because what I do find is people do want to help kids, but they don't know how. So you have to figure out what do you need and then find the person to help you meet that need. And all you really have to do is ask. So one of our powerful partnerships is Beth Pratt is the head of the National Wildlife Federation of California, and you may have heard about our wildlife crossing that's being built right now on the 101 freeway in Calabasas, and that's to help pumas cross the freeway and other wildlife because they get hit by cars on our many freeways. So because we've kind of have a partnership with Beth, every year she has a P22 festival. P22 is a mountain lion who crossed 2 LA freeways and made a home in Griffith Park, 8-mile range. They need 200 miles. And I think Beth Pratt will refer to him as the Brad Pitt of mountain lions. Single, handsome person, all alone there. Anyway, so we've been going every year to the P22 Festival at Griffith Park to honor him. And unfortunately, he passed away in December. He was kind of old and had a lot of things happening to him. And she invited us to participate in the celebration. So we got invited to the Greek Theater, which is an outdoor concert venue where all the rock stars come, and we got to go on stage. We brought 25 kids. They played the ukulele, and to a song that she rewrote words to. And
but I'm not a music teacher.
No, she's not. But you know, they got their picture in our LA Times, which was just truly outstanding. So the lessons have just given us a lot of mileage, and definitely we see the fruits of our labor, and you'll see them later.
Well, that's outstanding. And music really creates a sense of community in the classroom, but also in the community itself, as P22 clearly demonstrates here. So, all right, so let's get into belonging, because that's an important part of a music program. So, Gigi and Hazel, you guys want to share what belonging means to you, and then how did that develop over time? Any good examples of where it was really, really a case where you felt like you belong?
What belonging means to me is having something in common with someone else. For example, for our fifth grade culmination this year, we got to play with our classmates. We got to play the ukulele, the song Count on Me, in front of our parents, teachers, and with the rest of our classmates.
Awesome. And how'd that make you feel?
It made me feel very nice and proud.
Outstanding. Excellent. Gigi?
For me, when we went to the Greek theater, I went with some of my friends to play on the ukulele, and when we were strumming all at the same time, I thought like, wow, we're working as a team. This is like teamwork, and like, this is how we belong. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about from a teacher perspective, Josephine?
Well, of course, I was really proud of my students, because this is a very big thing where we come from, right? You just don't get invited to the Greek theatre unless you pay and you sit at the back, right? But we actually got to go behind the stage, which was a real eye-opener. And it was just wonderful to see the kids really rise to the occasion. And I feel that the fact that they've learned the instrument kind of empowered them to be able to do something like that, because I'm not sure when I was 9 years old or 10 years old if I would have been able to be as brave as you guys to do what you did that day. So, yeah, I was still like just running around kicking a ball, but that's okay.
Awesome. Well, and music elicits all kinds of amazing emotions, right? And we talked about that a little earlier. So can you guys maybe share a couple of experiences where, I mean, it really you're going to remember it for the rest of your life? Really cool stuff. What you got?
Like I said, we were at the Greek theater, and when we were playing, I felt happy, excited, nervous, kind of scared, and then also curious, like, what's gonna happen next? Like, am I gonna drop my ukulele? Hey, that's an example. Yeah, those are my emotions.
Hazel, what do you think?
For me, like I said before, just being able to play with my friends and just like at the Greek, that was like something I'm never going to forget.
Well, you guys had someone famous visit your classroom too, right? How was that?
Came to our class.
Oh, Billie Eilish, huh? All right, and how was that?
Very exciting.
Oh, is that it? Now, a little earlier, you were all animated telling me all about how exciting it was.
That Billie Eilish and family actually helped to sponsor the Highland Park Community Program.
All 10 schools in Highland Park.
That's where she grew up.
Outstanding. Excellent. And from a teaching standpoint, I mean, just the...
I was just minding my own business in the classroom, as you usually do. But I knew there was something happening at the school that day, but of course they didn't tell me who was coming. So we were doing a ukulele lesson, and then from the corner of my eye, the door opened and in she walked. And I'm like, even though I'm old, I kind of recognized it was Billie Eilish. And so within like 3 seconds, the whole classroom just like, and eyes were this big, and but they were really good. The children, like, they didn't kind of, mob her or anything. They were just like, it's Billie Eilish, and she went and sat down. And what did we call that seat?
The Billie Eilish chair.
The Billie Eilish chair, yeah. And no one was allowed to sit on it afterwards. And it was just a great experience, and she's very sweet.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we were really excited about the work with, just across different problems that the school system had around music and arts education over the course of the summer, and really the last 3 years, but it wasn't enough. We were serving around that time about 15,000 kids, and we knew we needed to do a little bit more, so let's talk about that.
Well, and we like to talk about the emotional impact of participating in these music programs because it's becoming really obvious to us now as the program has grown that there was something more going on. As we looked at a lot of the feedback that came in, we saw social emotional trends that we just hadn't anticipated because we had been moving so quickly and the logistics of this were kind of crazy. And so we thought, after seeing this for a couple of years, we thought it's time to really understand more, dig deeper into what's going on. So we found another partner with the University of Southern California. And, the music teaching and learning department took the lead in pulling together this wonderful study called Musical Participation and Positive Youth Development in Middle School. And the goal of the study was to understand the impact on positive youth development, school connectedness, and hopeful future expectations of students participating in music programs. 180 students participated from across the district, representing all sorts of schools, all sorts of students. The common thread, pardon, I know I wasn't supposed to do that, sorry. The common thread was that they all were participating in music programs. Some of them through home music programs, all types of music programs, including ours. And we have a couple of learnings that we thought might be relevant to everybody here, whether or not you're teaching music. Number one, daily music listening is a thing. And my kids tell me this all the time. I don't let them listen to Spotify enough, but I will. Daily music listening happens for the respondents in this survey. Over 50% of the students said they listen to music, middle schoolers, over 3 hours a day. And of those students that listen to music between 1 and 3 hours a day, they all reported having a good day. They also reported increased feelings of happiness, like measurable increased feelings of happiness after listening to music. So, instruments. The majority of students in the study, whether they participated in the Fender-focused program or not, played instruments from the guitar family, and this chart made Fender really happy.
Really happy. Really happy.
Maybe it's a thing. And this was a really interesting takeaway, the preferred artists and bands, especially going into this, the Fender Play application, itself, we weren't sure if we could keep up. I mean, these are middle schoolers. The music selection it's happening like this.
All over the place.
Well, it turns out that middle school appreciation for music is pretty darn eclectic. Yeah, you got your BTS and your Tay-Tay up there. But if you look, Beethoven is at 3%, just like Billie Eilish, in terms of preferred artists and bands. In fact, 20% of the respondents indicated that a favorite band was one that was from the 1990s or earlier.
And I think, that was amazing. It was a bit of a shock, but when you think about the whole music catalog is accessible to kids these days, and when they discover music for the first time, it is with the same joy that we experience it for the first time. And it's fun to see that passed on.
Right. So our biggest takeaway here is that really the joy is in the journey. So crank up the stereo when you bring your kids to school, crank it up in the classroom, make sure they get exposed because they'll pay attention. And the best part of the study was that did reveal positive youth development with all of the kids. Participation in music programs shows an increase in hopeful future expectations for all of the participants, and it strengthened school connectedness, which is what we were hoping for. So here is a quote that the researchers pulled out and they added to the study just as a bonus quote because they felt it really helped to communicate some of what they were trying to achieve with the study. Music is the closest thing, and you'll have to pardon me, I get a little emotional when I read it. Music is the closest thing
to a time machine
Thank you,
that
Ed.
we will ever have. I got you, girl. When we want to transport ourselves into another time or place, we can listen to music or play our instruments and feel those emotions. Being in the music program has helped me to find myself, my peace, and my place in school.
And that's a 7th grader. So, yes, thank you. So once we saw that, we knew we had to go bigger.
We knew we had to do more.
Ed?
Yes, all right. So, and you hear a theme here. We're picking up partners. There's a sense that we need to do more. And again, this is well studied. The National Academy for Arts and Science has published an incredible read. If you get a chance, it's called Art for Life's Sake. And it just speaks to the need for parents, educators, school systems, legislators. We've got to work together to bring equitable access to music and arts education to our kids. So what do we do now that we've got LA Unified covered? We've got to do more. So, yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So, you know, we had an incredible impact. It was tens of thousands of instruments, but LA Unified has 600,000 plus students in school, all right? California has over 6 million students in public schools. And when you look at the U.S., it's over 50 million K through 12 students. How do we do more? And that's when our CEO caught me and Evan, and Evan was our chief marketing officer at the time, Evan Jones, and he said, hey, whatever happened to that ballot initiative that Superintendent Buettner was talking about? So I gave him a call. We had one of those in the room where it happened conversations at Italy and Century City, and we talked about, you know, hey, would it be possible for us to do a ballot initiative for the November 22 ballot election season? And again, if there's a theme here is compressed timeline, we didn't have a lot of time. So we said, yes, let's give this a shot. Austin did some research, and we said, okay, we've got to get 1 million signatures to get this onto the November ballot with a really short period of time to do it in. And what we found is when folks would go out and solicit for signatures, and you guys know them, they're at your local, supermarkets, and they're there, hey, we want you to sign. So it was the easiest signature raise ever, as indicated by the cost per signature. Normally it's about $10 a signature. It was under $6 for most of the campaign because it was so easy. When folks when they were approached, of course we want equitable access to music and arts education. So the need is out there. We've just got to connect the dots. Part 2 was engaging our artists. We had a bunch of Fender artists who were on board, getting the message out, but we had to really boil it down to something super, super clear. What we did was we wrote the legislation based upon an existing mechanism in the state budget, and all we did was add 1% to that number, and that 1% equated to almost $1 billion in the California budget. And Austin was also really smart because what we've seen in music programs is, and I'll give you an example, Santa Monica High has 6 orchestral programs at Santa Monica High. Went and visited the principal at Crenshaw High. He has 6 drummers in his drum line. So there is an unimaginable gap of lack of investment, especially in kids in communities that need it the most, So we wrote that into the legislation where those kids would get twice the dollars allocated per student. All right? We've got to rebuild the system. Next up. We're going to give you a real quick video that kind of shows you some of the marketing and some of the clarity of message that helped to drive this outcome. Roll the video.
When school budgets are cut, art and music classes are often the first to go. But a coalition of educators, labor groups, musicians, and Hollywood actors say arts and music are just as important as science, math, and reading. In November, California voters will decide if the state's yearly budget should mandate about $1 billion more for arts and music education.
Hi, I'm Joe Hong. I'm the K-12 education reporter for Cal Matters, and this is Proposition 28 in a minute.
Today, the state requires all of California's public school students to get some form of art instruction. But the quality of education can vary based on where you live. So Prop 28 was designed to give more money to districts that serve more students living in poverty. This measure won't raise taxes, but it will affect the budget. By law, California guarantees that about 40% of the state's general fund goes to education. Prop 28 would add 1% to that and dedicate it to arts instruction. For next year, that comes out to about an additional $1 billion. Districts would need to use most of that money to hire teachers for art, music, or drama. Supporters of the measure say students need the space to express themselves now more than ever to overcome the mental health challenges brought on by the pandemic. The money would come out of the state's general fund, which currently has a surplus of nearly $100 billion. So for now, supporters say they don't anticipate any cuts from elsewhere in the state budget. Heading into the fall campaign, no individual or organization was spending money to oppose the measure. So vote yes if you want California to give more money to schools for art and music, and vote no if you don't.
To learn more about this proposition and others, visit calmatters.org.
And this is the tale of the tape. So a couple of interesting notes. No one spent money opposing the measure. Okay, that's super unique, and if you can imagine California politics, I mean, it was unheard of at the time. No one spent money opposing the measure because it made sense. Our kids need equitable access to music and arts education. 64.4% of the voters at that election, almost 7 million Californians, said yes to the initiative, and we got it done. So that little idea that started with, hey Ed, we need your help, partnerships grew, a focus on impacting all kids across all of California, and we got 7 million Californians saying yes to $1 billion investment, which is the largest single investment in music and arts education in the history of our country. So we're proud of that.
So, how do you move from conversation to action in your own setting? Number one, trust your teachers. Lead your teachers, step up. You are the leaders here. We know it. You run your classrooms, and we know you can run these programs. So I think, if you're an administrator, trust your teachers, let them lead, let them take charge. They know what these students need. They know what their communities need, and we need to lean into that. Approach it like a project. That's the one thing I think that we did well.
Yeah.
Not the one thing, we did a lot well, but it was definitely a little bit of our superpower. We approached it like a project. We divide and conquer, make sure people have roles, make sure that there's somebody holding people accountable, keep those meetings on schedule, don't let them slide, keep to those dates and deadlines, and you'll go pretty far. Set a sustainable goal. Always think, our recommendation is 3 years. 3 years is a really good kind of time frame. What happens in year one? What happens in year two? What happens in year three? For us, it was in year one, build. In year two, grow. In year three, hand over the reins, transition out, and empower them to continue the program.
And can I double click on that? Because I think it was really, really some wise guidance when we started. A lot of times when folks do these programs, it's like, let's get it done in a year, let's get the press release going, everyone cheers, but that's not enough. You really have got to get their minds wrapped around. These changes are measured in years if you want to really impact kids and their education. So the idea of 3 years was super, super critical, and we built that into all the programming that we did.
And I'm going to just say data. Collect it, and it doesn't have to be fancy. Get scrappy like we did. Just talk to people. Start with that. Qualitative data goes very far. It makes me cry when I'm on a stage with kids that I've heard when I've said this 20 times. It really is, it is the basis of your story. It's going to give you the oomph that you need to get the support that you need to go beyond. And that is the next point. Tell your story. You have lots of stories. You have wonderful things to share. Don't keep it quiet. Don't keep it to just your small community or your school. Get it out there so people rally behind you, because they will. The support is out there.
And let's give a big shout out to the Smithsonian and Dr. Chisholm for the work that they're doing to amplify stories, celebrate teachers. I mean, this event is amazing. Thank you.
and giving us an opportunity to tell our story,
Yes.
because that's what we're doing today. So thank you for that. And then finally, find your partners. Is it the teacher next door or down the hall, or is it the school across town, or is it a local nonprofit? Is it a parent who has a connection, a corporate, somebody who corporate responsibility is just the charter of many organizations. There are opportunities out there. I know teachers, we were talking earlier, you had some thoughts on partnership. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Hey, you know, we all like free stuff, right? And we're not shy to ask. They offer us a free sticker, we take a couple of extra. So it's just asking. Just think about, again, what do you need? Who might be able to help you? Just start asking your friends, because somebody will know somebody. And I think a partnership story I heard just before we got on the plane was some small town in Northern California. A police officer wanted to connect with the teens in the neighborhood, so he offered free guitar lessons. It took off. Now there's a band. It took one person, so you just need to go find that person, or a corporation. But you know what? Everybody really wants to help kids, but again, they just don't know how. So you need to just ask.
Yeah, and I think the objective of the foundation was we wanted to serve 1 million kids by 2030, and we hit 6 million by 2023. So we kind of stepped back and said, all right, what do we need to do next? How do we do something in the service of kids? Because quite honestly, the guitars were actually the easy part, right? It's stitching together all the rest of the pieces and parts and really thinking about long-term objectives that made a big difference.
And empowering our partners to continue on for themselves.
Yes.
It's so worth it when you see the looks on the children's faces when they're actually playing and so happy. And well, right, yeah, yeah, it's great. It's all worthwhile. Yeah.
And I think what we saw, especially at P22, for our 25 students to stand on a very famous stage and sing and play in front of 6,000 people, that's confidence. And thank you to Fender and the Fender Play Foundation, and to Billie Eilish and her family who made it all possible. So you just have to go find your people.
Unexpected and a beautiful partner, for sure.
Without a doubt.
So, I mean, in terms of what now, so really what's happened is it's moving, it's changing, it's growing. We've got a wonderful program out in, not we, but the Punahou School out in Hawaii. There's a program for college readiness called the Pueo program. And they are now in their second year of offering an ukulele program as part of their summer school offering. And some Los Angeles Unified School District teachers flew out to Hawaii to actually participate in transferring knowledge to those teachers who are now taking that, applying it, and talking to the Hawaii Department of Education about the possibilities of implementing a program similar in whatever capacity they feel is best. But it's teacher-driven, teacher-connected, and it's really doing beautiful things.
It's amazing. And Amelia Gore is out in the audience. Amelia was a program director for the program. Hey, Amelia. I mean, one of the big lessons out of the Hawaii program was the idea of culturally relevant music education. And it, again,
an arts integrated approach. It's going to be amazing.
It's amazing because it connects kids to their community and to their heritage. And the celebration is not just the kids, but it's the entire family. And we see that translated out, certainly in the work in Hawaii.
Yeah, so it's growing and it's going beyond.
Yes.
And what now for us? Well, we have a special treat. Our girls are going to get up and they're going to play us a song. And we have added the chorus here because we'd like it to be a sing-along. So please join in. Oops, sorry.
Wait, does it work? It works. If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to forget how much you mean to me. Every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. Oh, you know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, you can count on me 'cause I can count on you.
Josephine and Sharon, thank you so much for sharing that amazing story. Thank you for the work that you're doing each and every day. Thank you for sharing your talent and your artistry with us. And thank you to all of you for joining us for the Smithsonian National Education Summit. I hope you are leaving understanding how much we care and love you and want to be in partnership and collaboration with you. Thank you for joining us.